My name is Clenilson Gomez. I am the father of Enzo Moises, a child with a syndrome called SMA. It is type 1 SMA. And I want to tell you a little bit about what SMA is. How we discovered SMA in Enzo, how Enzo has been coping with SMA, Enzo's progress or lack of progress, how he was supposed to be, how he is now, why he is like this, why Enzo has evolved or why he hasn't evolved, what SMA does, what it affects, and what SMA means to a family, what it represents. In a family that has a child diagnosed with SMA, how is this diagnosis made and how should we prepare after a diagnosis like this? Knowledge is very important for taking care of a child with SMA and knowing how to deal with the situation. It's not easy, but thank God we have been adapting, we have been adjusting, changing our whole life routine to be with Enzo, right? Enzo is a 6-year-old child diagnosed in the first months of his life with type 1 SMA. Que hoje, né? It's one of the most severe cases of SMA, right? We have type 0, type 1, type 2, type 3, and type 4, right? From type 2 onward, symptoms develop at a later age, and they tend to become milder as the types progress. Type 0, on the other hand, which happens during pregnancy, is the most severe form today. But usually the children don't survive, leaving type 1 as the most severe and serious form of SMA. Because the children do have a chance to live and to have a life, to continue together with their family. But it's not easy, especially the diagnosis. So how did you manage to diagnose Enzo so early? How did that happen? Guys, we are the parents of another child with SMA, namely Erica. Erica also has type 1, just like Enzo. Unlike Enzo, she is completely immobile. She lost all her movements because when she was born, we didn't have the knowledge we have today. Today, with the knowledge we have since Erica came into our lives, we were better prepared to welcome Enzo, knowing how to handle things and knowing what to do. And even in some cases, to question some decisions that were made for Enzo. Like Erica, anyone who knows her and sees her day to day knows that she has a tracheostomy. Enzo was also supposed to have a tracheostomy, but we didn't want that. We chose not to do it. And today, he's been making a lot of progress. Why? Because we already knew, how to deal with SMA. We already had some experience, with SMA, with Erica. And we brought all the experience we had with Erica to Enzo's care. But this time, making progress. We got better at providing that care. We tried to do things with Enzo that we didn't have the opportunity to do with Erica. We didn't know what she had, so figuring out Erica's condition was really tough. We couldn't get this diagnosis right away because even the medical professionals couldn't identify Erica's problem. As for Enzo, when he was born, we already knew he was a patient with SMA because we had already gone through this with Erica and recognized the same signs she had shown. And what he was showing was all very similar, indicating that he was potentially a child with SMA. And from then on, we started giving Enzo the care that we hadn't given Erica. We also made mistakes. We weren't 100% with Enzo as we should have been. Why? Because we were hit by a pandemic. In the middle of this pandemic, anyone who had symptoms like a cold, fever, things like that, would already receive a diagnosis. Like possibly having the virus that caused the pandemic at that time. That really got in the way of what we were doing with Enzo. Because he ended up having that fever, and after that fever, he had to be hospitalized with the diagnosis that at that moment was related to what was happening with the pandemic in our country. But it wasn't that. It was just a symptom of SMA that was developing at that moment, which was actually pretty simple to resolve. But at that moment, I failed. At that moment, his mom failed too. We failed Enzo, and he ended up needing a tracheostomy tube because he was intubated at that moment, which made it harder for him to swallow, something he used to do normally. But it was a failure that made us, get stronger to fight and keep looking for knowledge so that Enzo wouldn't worsen the way Erica did with SMA. And this is the result. It's Enzo doing well. It's Enzo making progress, getting better and better. Unlike many children who, when they were diagnosed with SMA, without that initial care, and unlike Enzo, without the proper treatment, they ended up getting worse. Enzo has been improving from the very beginning. It's hard, guys. Getting an SMA diagnosis is really tough. When we don't have the knowledge, when we, lack experience, right? It's different from what happened with me and my wife when Enzo was born. We went, to look for professionals who dealt with SMA, who were already taking care of other children with SMA. And from there, we pushed to get the test done, and it was done immediately. Then we got the results quickly, and the treatment, which was also started early, made all the difference. It keeps making all the difference, With Princess Erica, we didn't have all, the support and care for her like we had for Enzo, but we put it in God's hands. I want to say to everyone out there fighting against SMA that you deserve congratulations because you are true warriors. It's not easy. Anyone who has a child with SMA knows that it's a very difficult journey. It's a daily reality that requires 24-hour attention and care. Even if they're at Enzo's level, even though he's making a lot of progress, the care never stops. And those who are in the same situation as our Princess Erica, who's in the next room, know how hard it is, how distressing it is, right? Living with SMA, with that feeling that something could happen at any moment. We're already pretty much prepared to act, right? But we never know when it's gonna happen. At any moment, something could happen, right? Their oxygen levels could drop at any moment. An infection could happen at any moment. A problem could happen at any moment. So we need to be there, right? To act immediately and do the necessary procedures so that this person can return to normal standards. It's not easy. The struggle is very tough. And I want to invite everyone, guys, to keep following this family, to keep following these kids, and to share this content more and more with other people, especially people who are special, who have special children, who have special causes, and who are families like ours, so they can join us. Because here, guys, it's a family that fights, that has been showing its story, telling the daily story of 2 children with SMA, of a family that fights for their children's lives every single day. I also kindly ask all of you to share, guys. Share a lot with all your friends so that this story can reach more and more people around the world. My name is Clenilson Gomez, and I am very grateful for all your support. Together we are stronger, and with faith in God, everything will work out, guys. Thank you very much for the support from each one of you. May God bless our everyday lives, everyone. Bye-bye.